Okay. Welcome. September 4th, 2024, 6:30, Lowell School Committee regular scheduled meeting. Let's please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Rourke.
Here.
Mr. Bahu? Here. Mr. Conway?
Here.
Mr. Rossi? Here. Ms. Doherty? Here. Mr. Lay? Ms. Martin? Here. 6 present, 1 absent.
Great. 3 minutes. We have 6 of them, so I'll read them all at once, and we'll do one all in favor. 3.1, approval of the minutes of the special meeting, August 19th. 3.2, approval of the minutes of the special meeting, August 21st. 2 of them. I apologize, 3 of them. That's 3.3 and 3.4. 3.5 and 3.6 are approval of the minutes of special meetings of August 26, 2024. A motion by Mr. Conway, second by Ms. Doherty for approval. All those in favor say aye. Questions, Ms. Doherty?
Thank you. I'd like to speak on the minutes of the meeting of August 21st. I was not at that meeting because I had a death in the family, and one of the reports was in response to a motion I had. I thought there was going to be a quarterly update, but there wasn't one here, so I thought this would be the best opportunity to address that motion. Is that amenable to you, Your Honor? Thank you. So on page 8 of the minutes, we have this, that's where the minutes discuss response to motion regarding assistant principal hiring packets. I want to say that I was very disappointed in this report. I would not say it's sufficient. It's actually 143 words, 2 short paragraphs. I had more words in the text I got from the community concerns regarding our policies around screening committees. I find that there's the explanation, it just doesn't seem, I guess, credible. It might seem like a strong word, but my understanding was that some training happened to a hiring manager, and I think that if I could get more information as to why this happened, because we have very clear policies that the screening committee will be a factor in a hiring decision. And I want to be clear that our role is as a policy-setting body, and that when we don't have our policies followed, that is in our purview, and I would say our responsibility to follow up with that. And I didn't get enough information from this report as to how this happened. How did a candidate who didn't apply for the position get hired when the screening committee wasn't the screening committee that came back? So if I could just get more information on those aspects, and also include what the training was in terms of following what I think is a pretty basic policy. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Ms. Doherty, I understand that the report was not adequate, and I'm happy to provide you further details. It's absolutely not the case that anything in that report is false. If you find it not credible, can you please say what aspect is not credible to you?
Given the circumstances, as I came to understand it, the part that the hiring manager was alone in deciding to give a candidate a position that had not applied to that school. And I want to be clear, this is not about any particular candidate, that my concerns are around following our hiring policies. As you know, Superintendent, we've had concerns around that in the past, and I think that while some of it might have been related to specific schools, I think a lot of it did stem from central office as well. And that's where the credibility part, because I think the information as to who the candidate was not an applicant for this particular school.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.1, purchase to enter. Need a motion to approve the contract for 2 assistant superintendents. One is for HR and operations, James Hall, and the second is the approval for, hold on a second. Saving paper, so my apologies, yes, all right. And the second is 4.2, contract approval for Assistant Superintendent of Finance, Dr. Derek Pinto. Motion, roll call on both, so we'll start with Mr. Hall. Motion by Mr. Bahu, seconded by Mr. Conway. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay, Ms. Martin. 6 yeas, 1 absent.
And the 4.2 is Assistant Superintendent of Finance, Dr. Derek Pinto. Motion by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Darossi. Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay, Ms. Martin. 6 yeas.
4.3, permission to enter September 4th, 2024, by Ms. Martin, seconded by, no, okay, by Mr. Bahu, seconded by Mr. Rossi. Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi, Mr. Lay, Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. 5 yeas, 2 absent.
5, reports to superintendent. 5.1, response to a motion by Mr. Rossi, March 20th, 2024,
Your Honor?
regarding DESI special
Oh,
education.
Jackie.
I'm sorry, before we move on, could we introduce
Yes,
our
I'll call you.
new
Yeah,
Assistant
absolutely.
Superintendent of Finance?
Yes, thank you very much.
Since we just approved the contract, it might be a good time.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the committee. I'm delighted to introduce you tonight to our new Assistant Superintendent for Finance. He is a very polished professional, an articulate man with lots of experience in all aspects of schooling, including prior experience as a school principal, school management, and leadership at various sorts. Dr. Derek Pinto, could you please come to the podium?
Thank you. Good evening.
Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Wanted to thank you again for your time today. It's a pleasure to meet you all and to be a part of the Lowell community. I'm thrilled to accept the offer of Assistant Superintendent for Finance at Lowell Public Schools. And as I mentioned to some constituents earlier, I had the opportunity over the weekend to visit some of the schools and started reviewing some budget documents to acquaint myself with the district. I'm really excited to join the team and looking forward to making contributions under the leadership of Superintendent Skinner.
Great. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
welcome. Ms. Doherty, thank you very much for that. Moving on, 5, reports to the superintendent. 5.1, motion response, Mr. Rossi, March 20th, 2024, regarding DESI special education audit. Mr. Rossi.
Thank you, Mrs. LeGrand, for providing this very detailed response. I appreciate it. And it looks like we do have some things to work on going forward. It just speaks to the fact that we're really good at meeting timelines, but the rest of it needs to be worked on. And I think it speaks to the post-COVID era as well, in terms of compliance with DESI and so forth. I don't know if you have a plan in mind that maybe you'd want to speak to?
Dr. Doloff has submitted a corrective action plan, or what's called a CAP, to the Department of Ed for review. The plan consists of a number of things, right? Training is a huge piece of it, making sure that everybody that is in line with touching IEPs understands the components of it, and the timelines associated with it. The next piece is really making sure that those things are actually happening. So file review is a very big piece of corrective action plans as associated with the findings that we had for partially implemented. Yeah, and we're just waiting for that to be approved by the department. Sure. I also just want to say, there's a tremendous amount of work, and I was remiss by not putting this in the, thanking the special ed department for everything that they did. It's a tremendous amount of work that goes into the tiered focus monitoring work, so.
Jody?
I just wanted to say, I welcome the frankness of the report. Like, we know these are some areas we're going to be working on. And I would just ask that once we get the approval from DESE,
Yep.
that we continue to be apprised of as we make progress towards meeting the milestones we need to meet. Be good.
Great.
Thank you.
Will do.
5.2, motion response by Mr. Rossi, May 15th, 2024, regarding a call of traffic officer / crossing guard. Mr. Rossi.
So I know I've been harping on this for quite a while. This is a near and dear issue to me because I grew up my whole life across from the Robinson McAuliffe. I was always told that's a one-way, right? And so when I drop my son off at the Robinson in the morning and I'm driving up and I only see like 2 lines going one way and then one way up and one way down, that doesn't say to me, caution, a car is coming down the one way. And so that concerns me very much in that area because all I've ever known is it's a one way. And when it's icy, it gets very scary in the morning. And so I'm really passionate about this and really want to stay harping on this because it's not safe. The lines are not clear, and there needs to be a caution sign there or something because it is dangerous, or there needs to be a crossing guard up there. To boot with the McAuliffe, people speed down that way with their starting times. So, I mean, I know you say staff and vests and so forth, but it's a serious safety issue because are we going to sacrifice a staff member for somebody speeding down there that could care less? I just think we need more signage. We need better lines to define it. So thank you for this response, but that's how I feel.
5.3, motion response by Mr. Bahu, July 25th, 2024, regarding safety awareness. Mr. Bahu.
Thank you for the report. Violence is something that's very concerning to all of us within the area. We're actually within all of our country, and it's important that we move forward. So I will accept this report as a motion in progress, and I hope that we can keep building because our student safety is of the utmost importance, and it's the most something that we need to keep an eye on ever so closely. So, thank you.
Thank you. 5.4, motion response, Mr. Rossi, August 21st, 2024, regarding hiring of tutors. Mr. Rossi.
Thank you for this report also. It's good to see we're making progress towards hiring the tutors. I think that's a good sign for the schools and the kids, so thank you for this, and I hope to see more onboarding for the tutors because I know they're an essential part of Lowell Public Schools too. Thank you.
Mr. Martin.
Thank you very much. Just, for my own edification, so we've hired so far 104 tutors. How many are we scheduled to bring on? Like, what's the deficit right now?
Superintendent.
Dr. Hall, can you answer that, please?
Mr. Hall.
I believe it's about halfway through, Ms. Marin. As of that time, it might have gone, I'd say, between a third and a half of the way through the processing.
So we still have like another
Right, but like I tried to say, that a lot of the people are coming back, so it's just a matter of processing them at the right time based on the flow from the regular full-time positions. Now we're clear to process tutors.
So that we have what's the total number of tutors that we have on the books?
As of that date, it was that number, but we're
No, I mean,
aiming
like that was scheduled, like how many are we planning to have? 200?
approximately 200 to 250, but it's, based on the number of hours within the budget too, so that could cause it to fluctuate.
Okay, thank you.
5.5, response to a motion, bundle motion by Mr. Bahu, Mr. Conway, and Mr. Rossi, August 21st, 2024, regarding school opening / construction. Who would like to go first, if anyone? Going once? Oh.
So I thank you for this. I'm curious, it looks like, there's still a couple of projects that are going on, which are new roofs at the Robinson as well as the Shaughnessy. And I'm curious what the timeline is on that. There's always the disruption to students, there's always equipment, there's always people working on the buildings and such like that can get in the way. There's also chances of liabilities of students tripping or being in the wrong area during recess or after school. So what's our timeline on the Shaughnessy as well as the Robinson's roofs that are not completed yet?
Approximately mid-October, Mr. Bahu. I will say that there were extensive plans made before school start to clean the properties of any construction equipment and, fallen debris and so forth, so that the grounds of the schools are completely clean and safe. There were extensive plans made for the work to continue in such a way as it did not disrupt education or provide any safety hazards.
And are they working on weekends, or is it only during the week repairing the roof?
I'm not sure, Dr. Hall?
It's mostly just during the week.
During school hours?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's hope they can finish this project by mid-October.
Mr. Rossi?
So I do know, because of living across the street from the McAuliffe and Robinson, that they definitely are working on most Saturdays. My concern overall is behind the Robinson. They've left out a lot of construction pieces that have not been picked up, and kids have tripped on it from my 5th and 6th grade reports, my children's friends. So if that can just get cleaned up, like it's just another liability, and I just don't think it's good. So I appreciate the work they're doing. I mean, the Robinson looks beautiful. The McAuliffe, they painted the front and it looks beautiful. They've done a lot of great work, but if they could just clean up like the metal pieces that are in the back, that would be even more helpful. So thank you.
Mr. Conway?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thank you for the report. My motion was concentrating on the high school, because I did receive a number of calls, concerns, whether we were going to be ready or not. And you drive around there, you take a look at it. And matter of fact, I was talking to someone that works in that vicinity, and they said they were amazed on how it was cleaned up in such a quick time. And as this individual said, there had to be 100 people over there cleaning it up. So again, when you have parents or teachers going by and taking a look at that, they say, oh my gosh, how is it ever going to be open on time? Is there anything, the other thing what I wanted to make sure with the motion was to, as we talked about before, kind of an open-ended one. So if there's something that you would like to add, Mr. Superintendent, in regards to the high school at all, in the opening, anything that,
Thank you.
now it has opened. And are things in place? Are there anything that we have to be concerned with at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Conway. I think I'll answer in two parts, the good side and then the ongoing concerns. The good side is that school opened up very, very smoothly. The work to be ready and to clean the school went on until the Sunday night before teachers returned on Monday. And my understanding, and I was there that first Monday with staff, was that they were universally thrilled with the new opening. And by the way, we are working on a visit for the school committee to the new space. But it's a beautiful open space as you enter Lowell High School, and the new areas of the school are functioning really superbly, and people seem to be very happy. The caution I'll add is that there's a new part of the school now being worked on where the auditorium is and that yellow building. And it is, it's extensive. They are trashing the old insides and, of course, will be renewed. But while that level of work is going on and students are learning in classrooms nearby, there'll continue to be a concern. So Mr. Fiato, the head of school, has consistently said that the construction company is very responsive. If there's a concern about noise or anything else, he simply has to call the OPM, and in quick time, the noise stops. So that's been the experience we've had up until now. We just have to keep monitoring and make sure that that remains the case. Until the project is fully complete in 2 years, I think we will still have that concern.
I think this too will pass, Mr. Superintendent. I've been through 3 of these reconstructions and buildings torn down and nowhere to park and whatever, and somehow we do survive. We become stronger over it, I guess. The other thing that I'm a little concerned with too, and I know people, we've talked about it, and I'm sure that we're going to be talking about it in more detail as time goes on, and that's that Pawtucket Memorial with the mold situation. And, I think that's something that we have to really stay on top of it. And I know that people have said it, but it doesn't hurt to remind people that, we have children in there, we have our staff in there, we want to make sure that our schools are as safe as possible. I mean, when we talk about a structure. So I will be looking forward to, and I'm sure the rest of my colleagues will be looking forward to the updates on the mold situation and to see if, hopefully we're progressing in a nice, positive way, and that and this will be put behind us eventually. But thank you for the report. I appreciate that.
5.6, report on motions. Mr. Hardy?
I want to apologize because it was in here. I don't know how I didn't see it before. I don't know if when it's completed, if you want to take them off, or are you leaving them on?
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. I think that this is important for all school committee members. When we respond to your motions, as we've responded to several tonight, and people are grateful, or people say it's not sufficient and we want more, we code the motions then that it was completed or that the committee member asked for more information, and so it's not completed, right? But we never remove the motion from the report until you've had a chance to see. We coded it as completed. That's your chance tonight, right? So in this current report, we're sharing with you the number of motions, all the ones that you've made, and if it says beside it completed, it's our interpretation that but you're welcome to say not that case for my motion. If you tonight vote on this report on motions and you're happy with it, tomorrow we literally will remove all the completed ones and we move forward with the others.
Oh, so I don't have to say you can remove my completed one. It says completed and I'm fine with it. You're going to just remove it.
Yes, that's the idea of sharing with you in this format.
That's perfect. So I just would ask that, and I know it didn't come in that long ago, I had a motion on the health curriculum on page 7, and it's coded as ongoing, but if we can, get some information sooner, especially the piece, we piloted this new health curriculum. We've got health teachers at all the middle schools. These were initiatives that the committee made, and one of the pieces we were waiting for is how we're going to incorporate student voices in that curriculum, so we're engaging them in their own learning, especially around health curriculum issues. So that would just be like a gentle nudge if we could get that sooner. And then also, this is the one that really came late in July, but I know it's very important to the students that are involved. On page 8, I had a motion asking that we come up with a collaborative way that the band color guard program could accept our Lowell students who go to the vocational school, because we do a collaborative other programs, the After Dark program with the vocational school, to benefit students, and this would be one where I think the programs would also benefit, as well as the students that came up through our middle schools and just ended up at the Voc, but want to do band and color guard, which they don't have at the Voc. So that one's time sensitive because the kids are aging out. So those would be my 2 requests, if we could, move sooner on them.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Doherty. I suggest to you that if we're unable to provide a full report in the next meeting, we'll at least provide you a progress update about what's happening and why it's taking as long as it is.
And I know just with the color guard band one, I know parents who reached out to me about this said if transportation wasn't something we could make happen, they would be responsible for getting their child from the vocational school to the high school, if the transportation piece was one of the sticklers for that program. Thank you.
Mr. Conway?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion response on page 2 up at the top, Mr. Superintendent, on the Park Avenue East. It
Yes,
says
Mr.
completed.
Yes.
I walk by there almost every day. I don't see any changes at all. Anything done with that? Because, again, what I was concerned about, again, is the safety. And we've got 2 schools on both sides of that street. We got the Moody on one side, we've got the Pine on the other. Plus, we have 2 parks. We have Shed Park and Fort Hill Park. And there's a lot of kids that are around there. And also, I know, and I walk by there all the time, and people have said to me that it's terrible where you have individuals, whether they're on those bikes or cars, and they're speeding like anything going up and down. And a lot of that is almost dead spots too, where a little kid can very easily be hit on something like that. So I looked, and I think before you talked about some signage. I don't see any signage up there. So if we could just hold off on that, and let's take a look at that. The other thing too, and I'm not going to go into detail on it tonight by no means, but I put a number of motions on in regards to safety, and they're put in as completed, the status. And I get it that some of these people don't want to continue on with it, but I will say that some of these motions that are going to be dealing with safety, and I'll be bringing them up, there's no doubt about that, and there could be changes take place. So we might find that there's another motion that's very similar, but it has to be brought back in another form. We understand that?
Understood.
Okay, all right. Because again, the safety is paramount for children and staff, and I'm going to keep on on that. Thank you. Thank you,
Motion.
Mayor.
Yep. Need a motion to accept the reports of the superintendent 5.1 and 5.6, reports of progress by Mr. Lay, seconded by Mr. Rossi. All those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 6, new business 6.1, request the school committee to nominate 2 members to serve on the strategic goals committee. Need a motion to name 2 members before we get into the conversation by Mr. Conway, seconded by Mr. Bahu. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The current Lowell Public Schools strategic plan expires at the end of this year, 2020 to 2025, and we're excited to work this school year on developing a new strategic plan, and we have some partners helping us with that work. There's been a suggestion that we include school committee members and get their opinions and ideas about what should be in our next strategic plan. So we're looking for 2 school committee members who agree to be interviewed for that purpose.
Volunteers? Ms. Martin and Mr. Bahu, thank you for your continuing excellent service.
Thank you very much.
Yes, all right. Yes, Ms. Martin, Mr. Bahu. So we'll just take a roll call for that. We already have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, roll call?
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. 7 yeas.
6.2, approval and accept and expend allocated FY25 awards. I need a motion by Mr. Rossi, second by Ms. Doherty. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. 7 yeas.
We can take 6.3 and 6.4 together. Request approval of doctorate research proposals, 6.3 and 6.4. Motion by Mr. Conway, seconded by Mr. Lay. Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. 7 yeas.
6.5, home education. Need a motion to approve by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Ms. Martin. Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mayor Rourke,
Yes.
Mr. Bahu,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty,
Yes.
Mr. Lay,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. 7 yeas.
Dr. Pinto.
Mr. Mayor.
See how easy that was? The whole meeting, whole meeting, see what you walked into? 30 minutes.
Shortest meeting we've had for years.
It only gets worse, Doc. That's right, yeah. Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah,
may I have a point of privilege? Just 1 minute.
momentum. Mr. Lay, you just killed it. As long as you make it quick, we'll look good.
I promise. Promise. Quicker than quick.
Okay.
I just want to say that I had the opportunity to walk to the new extension of the Rogers School. I was skeptical at the beginning. Now that I had a chance to walk in before the kids even walking in with the superintendent, I thought it was wonderful. I just want to say that it was well done. And also, I had the opportunity to walk into the new wing of the high school. The entrance looks wonderful, and walk through that freshman side of the high school. Just want to say everything is good, and I wish we save the sign for the George Cooler Harris. If we could have a photo to prove that we still have it, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You got it. Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have to add this because, I've been a complainer about the lockers at the Bartlett School, and I had a teacher send me a picture of these beautiful new lockers at the Bartlett School, and it just made my day. It really did. So thank you to all the staff who had something to do with that. It's been a long time coming.
Mr. Rossi. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Rossi, second by Mr. Conway. All those in favor say aye. Good evening.
Yeah, thanks for the chocolate cake. I had a can of Coke. I had a can of Coke before I got here. I needed the sugar, I needed the caffeine.